Yeah.
So you might wonder why.
Radio.
That's what we just gonna say. That's how I deal with it now. I guess. You might wonder why I have the XXL pulled up here. So I always say, for the last few episodes, we've been talking about how people intake their music and their content. You know, we watch a lot of streamers play music in the background. We watch a lot of videos that they play music in the background. And then we have to look at our major distributors, as far as DSPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think people seem to forget at times that they're not music labels. They're not record labels. They're best way to say it. They're tech companies. Spotify is a tech company. Apple's a tech company. They see the invested interest with music where they can capitalize off of it. Therefore, why we're here. Therefore, you could play the 15 seconds on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you could on on Instagram, you could play like a whole minute song.
Right.
So they're finding a way to trickle this money down because it's not coming from the streams VPR.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because the way the youth is set up to intake music, why are they incorporating Snoop Dogg, right, into Fortnite and allowing his music to play?
Right.
Who's getting the coin for that? So you have to think, is it the label? Is it the distributor? So I'm just, more focused on that part of the conversation. And that brings me back to the XXL up here. So Tyler, the Creator, just dropped an album, and I'm going to view this. And he just sold 200K. Let's say 300K. Let's say round it up to 300K, right?
Mm-hmm.
While we have artists, I'm going to go down the list right now. We have artists, VPR, that's struggling. I'm going to play of videos just so y'all see. This is, if he could do this in Brooklyn, right? And you got Ice Spice that is doing the same crowds. Let me stop that scan. You doing the same crowds, but not only getting 20,000 sales. I was Tyler, the Creator, pulling this off while, you get what I'm saying? They got the same crowd size. Where are the sales coming from? Like, why are they culturally connecting more to Tyler?
Right.
You dig? So look at the crowd. Look how he's rocking in Brooklyn. He dressed like a villain. I'm glad he's, you know what I mean? VPR. And then we got Ice Spice. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm going to bring up the article and just continue to look at the numbers. So y'all see, y'all favorite artists, when they say they're living a certain lifestyle, we been knew they weren't living that. But this will just give you an idea of what they're selling. And it's not recouping. Flo Milli, she had one of the biggest singles this year. You'll Never Have to Leave Me, right? And I think she got nominated for a few. But look, 16K.
Crazy.
And if you continue to go down, you'll see the trend of 17. You'll see the trend of 20.
Wow.
And most of these you have to understand, most of these are bought through the label just to make sure they save face. Like I would say at least 10K, 15, 14. Right. And then the rest will come in organically. Four Bats. He just had a song with Drake. He had a big song. Chief Keef, he's a legacy act now, in a sense.
Yeah.
JT, so where is the money going? Because it's not like the hip hop hemisphere is not making money. It's still making money and making the most it's ever made.
Right.
But the artists are selling the least, and they're crying about their deals. So that's the conversation I want to have, EPL. Where do you think that all comes from, Key?
I don't even want to give my input. I think that's the perfect segue to actually bring Baby Paul into this, because he has been in the game for many, many years. And I know that.
Yes, bring him up, man. VPR.
Peace. What's up, VPR? What's up, F.M.i? What's up,
What's going on?
Blessings.
What's up, fam?
So good to see y'all. It's been a minute, right?
It has been.
Hey, I see you've been out there thriving. You've been out there living and thriving, man.
Always.
Getting to it.
Man, I'm just hustling, man. I appreciate y'all for having me first and foremost. And it's crazy because I made sure to tune in before I was due to be a guest on your show.
Yes.
So I could hear the conversation. And I'm so ready to get involved. So ready to get involved in this conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First off, F.M.i, salute to you, because I see you get it. You know what I'm saying? As far as understanding what's going on in the industry, and even pointing out that these DSPs are tech companies. They're not music companies. They're tech companies capitalizing on the music industry. And speaking of Spotify, they just report that they did over $3 billion in the past year, almost 300 million in one quarter. So it's like, we really got to pay attention to that and say, where's the money going? Is it going to these companies, or is these artists getting their just due? And especially for the independent music artists, so many independent music artists are doing great music, trying to find their niche in terms of the marketing aspect of how to reach their audiences. And it's a tough game, because the saying, it takes money to make money. So initially, you got to spend a certain amount of money before you can see a return. And in the independent side of things, it's like you may end up spending more money than you make, just to either break even or try to monetize your product. So it's like you got to find different ways to connect to your audience, whether it's products, outside of the actual music, or getting the interest to book shows and things like that. So that was very well put, and it was a great subject to bring up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think back to, let's bring it back. I think it was pre-COVID, or right during COVID, when Travis Scott and Nicki Minaj was having a spat just over album sales, because they were arguing upon the way they packaged their music. You remember the time when they were selling everything with their ticket? You bought the album, you got the ticket, you got a shirt, and they were selling it, and it was these deals, these package deals, in order to get the numbers up.
Right.
So it brings me all back to this, and I deal with all of these artists out here, and some of them come to me, looking for the label push. Some of them come to me and they don't understand the power that they have, just being able to be on their own distribution deal, just getting their own distribution deal and setting that up. And it's just I'm looking at these sales for these numbers for these albums. They're trying to lie to people like me and you and say, oh, hip hop's doing bad. And then you got all these artists that are pouring into that narrative, bro.
Right.
And hip hop is the top played genre. Mm-hmm. It's continuing to grow. The youth continue to do the TikTok dances. That's going to get closed down in January.
Yeah, I was about
TikTok,
to say
they got to sell.
I'm glad you're on top of that.
Yeah,
right.
But it's the generation past us and how they're consuming the music. That's why I laugh and I think about Fortnite, and I'm just like, we got to figure that out, because apparently it's not just coming from pushing your music. You're gonna have to come with a different game plan.
Yeah, you got to do different things. And for me, as a music producer, I realized that aside from producing records to make my living off of record sales or performance royalties, I think of sync deals for music and television. I DJ events. We done crossed paths a couple of times, F.M.i, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my DJ team. I touch with DJs, Mr. Effects, the whole fam. And I recently launched a content series about the art, business, and lifestyles of music production called F.M.i. Wearing my little merch right now. I'm doing that with Prestige, one of my best friends, formerly of Bad Boy Records, Hitman producers. And we having fun, man. We just did a partnership with a new streaming network called Red Coral Universe that supports new content creators. They're like film production company partners, and they launched this new network.
YMVS, Shampoo, we have a deal with them.
Yeah. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So we've been like testing the waters with this network, pushing the content through that. So far so good.
VPR. Now, we've had Baby Paul up here before.
Yeah.
And he's always brought great music, great energy, and he's a seasoned veteran here, man. Now,
I've been around for a little while.
VPR Radio with my girl Qiana and my DJ F.M.i.
Don't say